All right. I am excited about this. I never thought of cooking cream of wheat as, baking it. I always ate it growing up as cereal. We do, let's see. Except my mom always called it farina. So I don't know what that is. But anyway, I'm excited by this because when I read the cream of wheat, it seems like it has tons and tons of vitamins and minerals in it. I didn't realize that. Jerri, can you tell us why you decided to pick this one?
Well, it wasn't because it had tons of vitamins and minerals. I concentrate on one nutrient that's very important and dear to my heart, and that is the nutrient magnesium. So that's number one of what I look for. Okay.
Okay.
It doesn't have a ton of magnesium, but it does have some. So if it has some, by golly, let's use it. Especially if it is something that doesn't have any saturated fat, but it does have some carbohydrates. I know a lot of people are on those diets that they think they ain't supposed to have no carbohydrates, but I believe we need some carbohydrates.
The one I have says no fat at all.
Yeah, don't have any fat, but it does have some carbohydrates. And sometimes we kind of like need carbohydrates in our diets too when we're trying to have, we ain't supposed to have a whole lot if you're trying to lose a bunch of weight, but you need some.
Yeah,
and the problem was I had
no fat and cholesterol.
No fat, no cholesterol, and it does have in the amount that we're going to be, it has 16 milligrams of magnesium in the whole in what we're making. So you're making 12 muffins. You can put it in a pan if you want, like a small cornbread type pan, or you can make a bigger pan if you double the recipe. But so one serving, is you're dividing it, you get about, you get 16 in the batch.
So
from
you can do it muffins. I thought mine said it's 12 by 13 pan, so we're making like a bread.
Yeah, with a double, and that said to double the ingredients.
Oh, okay. The choice of how many people you're feeding, right?
Yes, and it makes it like a cake, almost like a cake of bread,
Okay.
like a pan of bread, like a cake size, if you double the ingredients. So I'm going to do a single, just the muffin pans though today. I decided to do it that way.
I want to show you my friend's measuring cups. Look, they're little clay pots. That's a quarter one. It's a little half one.
Wow,
that's neat. That's awesome, isn't it?
That is really awesome.
Pottery. So going over the ingredients, most of the stuff is, anybody who's a baker has this stuff in their place, with the exception of the cream of wheat. You have, oil, flour, baking powder, vanilla, milk, sugar or honey, and cream of wheat. Was that everything?
And an egg.
I think so.
You got the egg?
Oh, let me grab the egg out of the fridge. But this is a double recipe, so I need 2 eggs, right?
Yeah, you're doing the double. I'm doing one.
All right. So I need a little assistance here because I did not make it to the grocery store. Okay. I have half the amount of cream of wheat. So I know a lot of people like to.
Half an egg?
Well, that's the thing. I could break the egg, beat it, and divide it in half. It's not like.
Do you have a half of cup of cream of wheat is what you're saying?
Correct.
Well, just substitute that. No, keep it the same and just add a half a cup more flour.
Yeah.
And you'll be fine.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right, we're ready to get going.
Okay, I'm ready. All right, I'm on. Well, my name is Jerri X, and I am the owner of a holistic lifestyle company called Blue Deals and Heals. As you can see, my apron says, be willing, start dealing, get healing. And that's what my
I
company
love
is all
that.
about. Huh?
That's your motto? That's a great one.
Yeah, be willing, start dealing, get healing. Blue deals and heals. That means that if we deal with the blues of life and face it head on, we can heal from anything. I believe in physical, mental, and spiritual healing. So cooking to me covers all those three things. Cooking is fun, so it's a mental healing, right? Brings people together. You want people to feel good from your cooking. That's spiritual being, and of course, physical is just choosing to live, not just eating anything and putting anything in your body. So I'm doing a simple recipe today, but I hope to come on again. I do a lot of recipes. I'm a vegetarian. I know you guys were talking earlier, the difference between vegetarian and vegan. I do eat dairy products. I don't eat any fish, any meat whatsoever. I don't eat anything cooked in meat, grease, oil, or nothing, but I do consume dairy product. Mostly I consume milk that is, I get it from the Rocky Road Dairy Man, so I don't drink the milk
So
out
it's
the
like a local grass-fed.
local grass-fed milk. Yes. And I've never been able to drink milk in my life, and I'm 51 years old until now because of drinking milk like his that's not
Yeah.
obviously got something done to it of what's in the store. So
So I
anyway,
wanted to agree with you about cooking. Cooking for me is meditation, and my motto is feeding others is love.
yes,
So
yes,
yeah.
that was brilliant. That's very good spiritual. That's very
Well,
good.
I mean, I'm an emotional cook, so if I only cook for myself, I'd be like a lot fatter than I am. So my goal is to like cook and, you know, for others. So, um, all right. This will be a little challenge for me because I feel like I'm a good cook and not a good baker. So any tips you're going to give for this, any little tricks will help me
Well,
tremendously.
well, it's not. It to me, it's so simple that you don't need. A baby can make this. I think that the good thing about it is it should take you no more than 25 minutes. That's prepping and cooking this to have this, on the table, unless you do the double portion. The double portion does have to be cooked a little longer, but you can look at it and tell
So,
us
so
about
if you cook this, what do you normally serve it with? Is there anything you normally do, or is it just considered a bread, period?
It's just considered a bread for me. I served it at my dinner theater just with lentil soup. So I had a
Ooh.
soup and these muffins, and people really, really enjoyed them. They wanted extra. So yeah, it
There
was
you go.
yeah. So this is a simple recipe. Again, it's not extravagant. It's simple. You guys, so I'll just go ahead on and start. If everybody that's ready, we can go ahead and start. We
Let's do it.
simply, we simply do a cup of flour. I'm using whole wheat flour. I love this flour. It comes from Muhammad's Farm. And I've never really dealt with flour that's that good, and to me it cooks even better, but it's a whole wheat flour that didn't come from a store. So cup of flour. Next we're gonna do our cup of cream of wheat.
All right.
Okay,
Give
got
me a
that?
second here. I have to open the box of cream of wheat.
Okay, so we're gonna stir all the dry ingredients first, okay, guys? So then it is a half a cup of sugar, and I use the raw cane sugar, and you can use honey. I stopped using honey because honey is not that much better than this sugar to me, so I kind of stopped dealing with
And
the.
it's really expensive. I tend to use honey for things that are really super special, not like when you're,
Yeah, just, right. So that's
like,
why.
well, I mean, probably eat this with some honey, right?
Right, you can eat it with a little honey, but I
All
wouldn't.
right.
Because I measure how much sugar I consume per day.
All right. So I got
and
the
I'm really
flour and the
trying to
cream of
do-
wheat, and now I need some sugar in it, right?
Yeah, that's the sugar. Some people can use a sugar replacement if they feel, but I think that even if you're battling any type of diabetes or whatever, I don't really agree with sugar replacement. I just think that you should do the serving size of the food and don't go over your serving size. I don't think none of us should do that, but we're ornery and we do it anyway. But if you have diabetes or any insulin resistance, just stick with the serving size, because when you use a sugar replacement, the erythritol or whatever they're using is the same amount in it as your sugar. Does that make
Well, I
sense?
mean, the problem in America is like any prepared food you buy has way too much sugar.
Yeah, loaded with sugar. So then we're gonna do a tablespoon of baking powder. And that should be all your dry ingredients, kind of stir them around.
So quick question,
Go ahead.
no sifting of anything together, just scoop
Oh.
out the flour, dump it in, it's all cool.
Yeah, just dump it out. You don't have to sift it in. I'm stirring the dry ingredients a little bit. And then you add everything else.
You included the sugar with the dry?
Yes, I did.
So far I've got a cup of cream of wheat, a cup of flour, half a cup of sugar, and a tablespoon of baking powder.
Yes. Next is your egg. You should one egg, and with you is 2 eggs. Are you doubling your recipe?
I am, yeah.
Okay. Your egg, your milk, 3/4 cup of milk.
All right, I don't have a 3/4 cup, but I got a half cup and a 1/4 cup. Being so perfect. No, I can it doesn't have to be exact.
Right. I thought 3/4 was 1.5. No, 2 3/4.
Oh yeah,
No.
1.5. So I keep forgetting we're doubling.
All right, and then a teaspoon of pure vanilla. And the last thing you're gonna add is your oil. After you stir it a little bit, then add your oil. It's just always, to me, cooking any type of bread, you add the oil last. Okay.
All right, so
and that was 1/4 cup of oil. I use olive oil today, but the rest.
All right, I still need to do the vanilla, so let me see here. So 2 teaspoons would be 1 tablespoon.
Oh, 3 teaspoons, I think, are 1 tablespoon.
Let's go back. Your oven should be on 400. Everybody got their ovens preheated?
I always do that. I always forget to preheat the oven.
Mine is preheated. I just forgot to teach it. Sorry. 400.
I think a teaspoon is 5 mLs and a tablespoon is 15. Is that right? Does anybody else know?
Well, I know that it takes three teaspoons make a tablespoon.
That's it. So
does it really? I thought it was 2.
No, it's 3.
It's 3. 3 teaspoons to a tablespoon.
Yeah, I measure my spices.
It's not possible. I've got a teaspoon here, and
that's why you had trouble with. That's why you had trouble with baking, or all these years you had that confused.
Okay,
well, no, I mean,
you guys
I just tried it right now with the teaspoon. I tried to put it'll only hold 2 tablespoons.
Well, that's not really a teaspoon measure. That's just a kitchen spoon.
Okay, so you just you just dump the egg in, the milk, the vanilla.
Yeah, and then the oil.
And then the oil, and then stir.
Oh, I still need to add the oil.
And when you stir, this is what your mixture should look like.
So let's see, how much oil? Let's see.
She
And so,
stirred it up before she added the oil, Lulu.
A little bit, yes.
A little
And then
bit,
there's
yeah, get it
oil,
going.
a fourth of a cup of oil. So you are a half a cup, or you're a half a cup because you're doubling. So this is what it looks like.
I
And
doubled
so-
everything except the cream of wheat.
Huh?
I said I doubled everything except the cream of wheat, so I'll have to
Oh,
go
you
back.
gotta go double the cream of wheat.
And what's the quantity of vanilla?
A teaspoon, 1 teaspoon,
If you're doing the basic, but I'm doing a double,
yeah.
so.
So a teaspoon, and then your muffin pan should be oiled, or your whatever pan you want to use. If it's a small pan, you know.
So the double recipe you said will do a 9 by 13 pan.
Yes,
So, all right, and I still need to add oil to it.
And how many cupcake or how many muffins does this make for a standard size?
12. 12 muffins. This is your pan, 12 muffins. And this is the filler. I use an ice cream scooper to fill mine, but you can use any. You can just, it divides right, okay? If you got to 1 muffin and you didn't have none, that means you got a few too full and you just take a little bit out.
And
Make-
is there any salt in this?
No. There's no salt.
All right. All right. And you said oil the pan,
Yes.
so. Yeah,
I'm just using cupcake liners because I'm
You
lazy.
can use cupcake liners also.
I never really got into doing that, and I probably should because it makes it so much easier to serve them. But
You know, these work good even without cupcake liners. I made a lot of them. I had to make several pans of these for my dinner theater. I made 60 of them, and I made them for 5 pans, and I didn't use a cupcake liner.
So how much stirring are we doing? Is it minimal or well incorporated or?
Just make sure you got it all mixed. You can tell when it's mixed. It just kind of makes a thick mixture, and you can't go wrong. If you stir it a little over, it's not going to mess up. If you stir it under, your ingredients won't look like it's mixed up. Does that make sense? So I would say just minimum, just making sure everything is blended, but it doesn't have to have a bunch of stirring to come out right.
The oil's not really incorporating very easily. Like I have pools of it. I don't know if you can
Let me see.
Just keep
Like-
stirring.
just
I
keep
think
stirring.
yours is a lot thicker than mine. Mine's very liquidy. As
Let me-
usual, I put too much moisture.
Mine was pretty thick. Mine was thick. Can I see yours a little more?
Mine is, see, it
Yours
moves
is
around.
not bad. The one that thinks hers is too thick. And yours is, let me see yours again. Or
Yeah, mine
yours do
wiggles
look a little
around.
liquidy. How much
Yeah,
milk
so
did you put in
Lulu's
there?
is better. Hers is very thick and mine's too thin.
Yeah,
So-
that thick is pretty good. It looks very good.
I'll add a quarter cup more flour.
Yeah. That
Mine's
yours,
about like the consistency of thick
that's good.
cake mix, maybe.
That's
Yours looks
good.
like, yeah, I mean, like bread that you've let set overnight almost.
Well,
That's
it's runnier than bread dough for sure.
It's runnier than bread dough, yes, but that's right. It could be that thick and cooked perfectly, okay?
Now
I
start
mean, what
filling-
happens if there's too much moisture? You just have to cook it a little longer, right?
Or
That's
add
it.
more dry ingredients.
or just cook it a little bit longer.
All right,
but
so
you
mine's
should
like a
have
porridge
little bit
now.
thicker.
I mean,
That's good now. Yeah, that's good.
all right, my oven's only up to 250 warming up, so.
Yeah, mine too. I'm with you,
So
or
it's okay.
I always forget. It should be like #1 on all recipes. As soon as you start, put your oven, start warming. I think the biggest
should've
mistake
told
we
you.
make with everything is we don't warm our pans enough and we don't warm our ovens enough.
Yep.
So,
Or I found out that cream of wheat is the brand name for farina.
oh, okay.
yay.
Okay.
Yeah, I always grew up, we had farina. We would buy it in bulk. So you'd buy like a giant, I want to say like 25 or maybe even 50-pound bag of it. And cornmeal and regular flour for baking. We always bought things in bulk growing up. So, so Jerry, tell us a little bit more about your journey into eating healthier.
Okay. Well, let me show you guys this first because I didn't think we were going to stay on here to wait for y'all food to cook. So I didn't have a 1 muffin pan and I forgot to go to the store to get another one. So I fixed the batch before you guys came on
Okay.
and I just put it in this bread pan here.
Yep.
You guys see? And so it had to cook longer than because it's this bread pan. So I actually baked this for 30 minutes versus the 18 minutes for the muffin. So this is what you come out with. It's so good.
Yeah, what I like about this is, there's
Really good.
in bread, you've got yeast and leavening and all that kind of stuff. And this, you don't have to do all that stuff.
No, and it's crunchy, like it has a crunchy cornbread effect. I don't eat cornbread because cornmeal does not digest in our stomachs correctly. So I don't.
Bummer.
Huh?
I said bummer. I love corn. Anything corn.
Well, so he said, let's talk about my journey. One of the things that I've learned in my journey, what did we say? Be willing, start dealing, get healing. Willing to face things that I do that could potentially be what has kept me and my ancestors sick, and how I'm constantly looking at more and more illness. And I don't want to be at a doctor's office, right? Getting a pill for this and this and that. So cornmeal was something that I was taught from How to Eat to Live that didn't digest correctly in an African American's body. It may digest in yours, but for my body does not digest cornmeal correctly.
Well, that's very interesting because I cooked with the lady from Africa and she said if there's a meal that doesn't have corn, they starve. I mean, she cooked with us. It was basically a cornmeal mash, and she said it's a everybody eats that.
Yeah,
so, but maybe it's the GMO corn that we get in the U.S. too.
Well, it may be that she's making the corn in the milk stage. Now that does digest.
Okay, a different kind of corn.
And but the corn that we normally get, like you said, here, and that makes our cornmeal is not the kind that digests in your body, right?
Okay.
So, you're right. Other countries don't even allow some of the stuff that our country allow for, in stores. So it could be that, but so cornmeal is one, and I don't eat it. So I learned to not like it, and I love this, and I don't eat it, so I don't know, remember if I liked it or not.
What do you think
know,
of collard greens?
Huh?
What do you think of collard greens?
Collard greens are unhealthy for me. Collard greens are not, they are full of oxalates, and oxalates causes hardening of the arteries, and it is a calcium oxalate. And a lot of, so doctors are practicing medicine and they're doing the best they can, trying to find out a lot of stuff. But the whole point of it, of what I'm saying is we're steadily getting sick. So
So
collard greens,
what is your
in other words,
go-to green?
I don't
Have
I don't have to eat greens. Yeah, I don't eat greens to be healthy. I eat
okay.
spinach
I mean, the
every
reason
now
I
and
asked that is I came across a place that all they were selling was hot dogs and collard greens. And I was like, let me buy the healthy thing. And so I bought some
Well,
collard greens.
yeah, well, you
Well,
know,
does spinach has oxalates too, does it not,
it
Jerry?
does, but it does, but it's a different, it's
Ah,
different. That's why you should not eat spinach every day, but it is safer than the other greens.
okay,
The other
thank you.
greens are a ground purifier. Spinach is not necessarily the ground purifier, but it still has oxalates and you shouldn't eat it daily. Does that
Okay,
make sense? But the others are ground purifiers. And
So
so
how long did you say I'm supposed to put this in? 400
yours should
degrees.
be able to cook for like 25 minutes because
Okay.
yeah,
And the
it's good.
cupcakes?
18 minutes. You did the one, yeah, she just made the one serving.
Yeah, but mine has only a half a cup of the cream of wheat, and then a cup and a half of the
That's fine, that's fine. It's still the whole, it's still lit. Yeah, that's fine. But yes, so, you know, it's just so many things on this journey that I learn daily. You know what I mean? Daily, I learn more. We must keep an open, we must be open so that we can be taught. And sometimes we just get so misguided from so many things that we are unwilling to say, hold on, let me just look at me. So I always, when I'm teaching people, I say, is there anything with you that's wrong? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? With you. Well, could
So,
it be that you may need to relearn some things?
right.
And that's what happened with me. And so greens and stuff like that that I stopped eating have turned my life around.
So what
Not
is something you cook regularly that you think is like really good for you?
navy beans. So navy beans is something that I cook regularly. Um, it it just balances out so many things in your system, and you could do so many wonderful things with the navy bean. You can make navy bean burgers, navy bean meatballs, you know, with some spaghetti squash, navy bean pie, navy bean egg rolls, navy bean stir fry. Just
Yeah.
anything with navy beans you can replace. Navy beans, 105 milligrams of magnesium in 1 cooked cup. Why that is so important? If you are trying to help a family get their levels up, so 90% of us in America have low magnesium serum levels. Yes, it may show up in your blood work when you go to the doctor, but your blood serum level of magnesium only accounts for 1% of your entire magnesium makeup. 99% is in the muscles and nerves, and the doctors can't really detect that. You can get a false report of, oh, your blood serum level is correct, but you're still
Well,
deficient.
I wonder how much of that is
Yeah.
because people, we're just not eating organic food anymore, which,
Right.
you know, if the soil is depleted of, you know, the minerals,
Magnesium.
it's
Yeah.
not getting passed through to us.
Well, a lot of that, and the other thing I think is beans are not popular. People don't, oh, I fart and I do this, so they don't eat a lot of beans,
Well, I
which
mean,
they
the
should be
primary
eating.
bean that there's, I mean, the one bean most everybody's allergic to. And that causes a lot of digestion problems.
Soybean?
What was that? What kind?
Soy, which one are you saying?
The red bean, kidney bean.
Kidney
Okay.
beans.
So kidney bean, literally the proper way to cook that is you have to soak it, pour the water off, and then cook it
There's
because
some
it's
toxicity
actually
in a kidney bean. Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
As far as I know,
Well,
none of the other beans have that issue.
This is the only bean that I'm recommended to eat, and it's
Okay.
the only one I eat. So I just don't shuffle. I don't say, oh, I gotta have this, I gotta have that. This is the only one.
You said
Yeah.
you already baked this, so we don't have to wait to show it. Can you show it? Because I was distracted.
Oh,
Yeah. So when I was growing up, when we had leftover cream of wheat, Mom would like fry it. So that's how I assumed that this would be like if you got some cream of wheat and you sliced it and then you fried it in the morning. That it'd be a similar kind of cake like that. But
So that'd be cream of wheat that was not baked, but cooked in a pot.
correct.
Like your
You cook it in the
cereal.
morning, and if there's any leftovers, then
She fries like
it's pretty
cornbread.
thick, and then Mom would just slice it into little,
Yeah.
you know,
Make a
patties or
patty.
whatever.
Yeah.
and then fry it on both sides for breakfast.
Wait, Jerry, go
Yeah.
back. What is the flavor that you just tasted? What do you taste?
oh my God.
It's got vanilla
It
in
has a
it for
little
one.
sweetness. It has a little sweetness to it, but not sweet like cake, but enough that a kid would like it. You know?
It's got
And
vanilla.
then the one,
Vanilla.
yeah. Well, I think so. Butter, a little bit of butter would be good. Like when you want butter on your bread, this can actually go. Say this was served at one of those big time steakhouses where they bring your bread out. I think people would go nuts. Like I like it's literally, you know, on that level of taste where give me some more with some butter, you know. So, but it's crunch, it has a little crunchiness because of the cream of wheat, which gives it
Texture, yeah.
that texture that you can eat it with some chili, some soup, and just feel like you're eating cornbread. So
Okay.
it is a replacement for people like me who's given up cornbread.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for showing us how to do this. And well, we can talk about having you come back on to cook something else. And please stick around after the recording because we sit around and chat and talk about things. We've got people from at least 3 countries on here. So
Yes, that's wonderful. So I got 5 minutes left on my muffins. They're right at done. I don't know if someone else, well, I got 3 minutes now.
So I did forget to ask my question, what I usually ask. Any of these ingredients can be swapped out for something else. Like, would you add,
Yeah.
I don't know, raisins to this to make it a sweet one, or take the sugar out to make it less sweet, or, you know, how would you
You
change
can-
it up?
You can always, if you take the sugar out, I mean, you just would have no sugar, you know, maybe put less sugar. You can definitely change the flour for people who don't use wheat flour to some of the other flours, you know, what is that?
But I
Okay.
don't think it would, gluten-free flour wouldn't really do much because the farina itself is wheat, so.
I think you could make the
So-
farina, you can do savory with the farina by putting other spices in it, I think. I don't know about the baking part, but
Yeah, have you ever
Yeah.
made one that was, you know, savory with, I don't know, Italian herbs or a different flavor?
You know, I haven't, but I think that would really taste good if you took, and I would replace, you wouldn't really replace all of the sugar because you wouldn't probably want to put a half a cup of herbs, but you definitely could put some herbs in there and maybe put only just a tablespoon of sugar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I would still keep maybe a tablespoon of sugar and then substitute the rest of the half a cup with
Yeah, let's say you put like curry powder or something in there. It wouldn't have to be real spicy even, but
But
it
I
would
mean, start
have
by
a
just,
different flavor.
well,
I think you
oh,
could
you
just
can-
start by
you can
not
do
put the
that.
vanilla and then just serve it with different toppings to try it. You know,
If you use honey instead of sugar, is there any adjustment to the liquid?
No. No. I didn't make any and it came out fine. It's a little more moist, but no.
Okay.
will do.
Okay.
All right.
these are
Any
ready, so
final
I can-
words or questions, everybody?
I can show these. They're ready.
All right.
Mine
Yeah,
are
the
ready.
muffins
So
cook definitely a
I'm
lot
going
quicker,
to
huh?
take. See about.
And do you do that toothpick test that it comes out clean? Is that kind of how you judge?
No, I didn't because I put it on the amount of minutes and it was over. I just I cooked them for 18 minutes and I do it so much that I know that 18 minutes works on 400. So here it
Okay,
is.
you know your oven really well, yeah. Oh, look
Yeah,
at
I know
that,
my oven
perfectly
well.
brown.
You can do that, but it should be fine. Like I said, this is such a simple recipe that you would feel, you can even see it. If when it's brown like this, you see that?
Yeah.
Then this is the one with no cupcake things. This is just a grease
Yeah.
old
Yeah.
muffin pan. And this is what we get. When it looks like this, that thing is ready. And it comes out. Y'all
Yeah.
can see, and they just they're pretty, and you serve these for a group of people. They're just like, whoa, and you did it simply, right?
So I have a question, Jerry. So do you eat any other kind of bread like sprouted wheat or anything, or is this your bread replacement?
No, I use that whole wheat flour that I get from the farm. Let me show you it in the bag. So this is what my whole wheat flour. I have plenty
Uh-huh.
of it. I make bread. So I make a simple bread, right? And I use quick yeast rice because I make it simple and quick and we eat it quickly, right? So I make a simple bread that I make for my family, and we eat this bread during the week. And so I use this flour,
And water.
some oil, and some baking powder, and
So
a little bit of
just
salt.
really good basic bread.
Little bit of salt, and
Yeah.
I get a bread, and it rises in about 25 minutes. And then I bake it on some parchment paper, two that I make up. It makes like
Make
two.
a loaf. You make a loaf.
Yes, I make a little loaf on that and just cook it on the cookie sheet in the oven for it's like 30 minutes. And we got bread for the week. My husband and I normally are through with it. He eats it a lot. And we're done with it.
Oh,
in
there's
probably
nothing
about
better
3
than
days.
fresh bread.
That's true.
So-
Yeah.
So that's been something I've been learning to do. But we do buy one bread from the co-op that he likes. And I noticed that it doesn't have any fructose corn syrup in it. And what else? It doesn't have bad stuff in it. And
Yeah, but any bread you buy there is expensive.
it is. It costs like $8 for a
Yeah,
loaf
for a
of
loaf
bread.
of
So
bread.
that's why
Yeah,
I've been
I
thinking-
always
Yeah.
say that I would rather spend money on
For
good
health.
food than bad
Yeah.
health care.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's
or
what-
I'd rather spend money on good ingredients that I can prepare at home rather than paying somebody to make a loaf of bread and charging $8 for it.
That's true. I
Well, I
mean,
was talking, I
if you were
wasn't talking
making one
about
loaf of bread,
promotion.
it'd probably cost you $30 to buy all the ingredients, but then you'd have enough for like, months and months of making bread.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you'd have
Yeah,
a
there's
lot.
just nothing
Yeah.
expensive in making bread.
Yeah,
No,
true that.
it's a very good, cheap, it's easy, and I know what I'm putting in stuff.
Exactly, yeah.
Let me sum up one more time with y'all, what you got in this muffin. So this muffin has 8 grams of sugar. It has 8 grams of sugar in this muffin. That's very important. 8 grams of added sugar. Do you know how much added sugar as a female you should have per day? About 24 grams. Do you know as a man what you should have?
No,
It's about 36, I think. That's the difference. I think it's about 24 to 36. A man can have a little more sugar than us, the way that their body
so when
reacts.
you're saying sugar, does that, are you talking about carbohydrates in general?
No. I'm talking about added sugars, because if you pay attention to added sugars, now carbohydrates from the other stuff, you just have to really pay attention to serving sizes, and that's why the serving sizes are so low. I'm not talking about fruits and vegetables, but we should stick with knowing what's our servings, how many servings of fruit and vegetables we need a day, then you won't go over in that sugar. But I'm talking about the added sugars. So we made this, right? And we made 8 grams of sugar in a serving, in a muffin. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
and it's
8
not
grams.
really a lot of sugar. 8 grams is not a lot of sugar, really.
It is. 8 grams of added sugar is a lot. It's not a lot, but it's a lot for somebody who's not paying attention. You know, those little bitty packages of sugar that you put in your coffee, it's 4 grams. How many times have you been somewhere and somebody got the nastiest coffee in the world and you're trying to make it taste good and you put 3 of them packets in there? I done it. I'm already at 12, right? By the time I eat this, I'm at all the sugar I can have for the day, just about. It is the reason why we get sick. It is the reason why we suffer with type 2 diabetes. If we pay attention to stuff like this, we can change so many people in our surroundings. It's not just about us. Imagine teaching somebody something like that and they're like, what? They're getting ready to eat 3 of these, right? And you're like, okay, well, you probably shouldn't eat nothing else with added sugar in the day. And this is somebody that's probably eating some processed food that ain't even sweet, that's got 10 grams of added sugar in this much of it.
That's true, but when you say, when you said a woman should eat 24 grams,
And less. No, don't go
or you're talking about maximum amount.
maximum.
Because I don't have sugar in my house and I don't put sugar in anything that I eat. But that's not going to ruin my health because I don't eat any
Fred,
sugar.
you're still sweet
No,
enough
you
without the
don't gotta
sugar.
eat
Don't worry.
It's the maximum.
Yeah, that's
It's
your
the-
point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
it's
state
the maximum. Yeah, because the way you said it, it sounded like you got to eat 24 grams of sugar.
No. I figured we got sense enough to know we ain't got to eat no sugar. That's the
Right,
hardest
and-
thing to stay
And
away
if you're eating packaged food, you're going to get plenty of sugar because you can't find a packaged food that doesn't have.
So that was
fructose
my
or
question,
something in
was
it.
asking, can we make this without sugar?
You can, but you just won't get this, you finna taste it. So the
You do
difference.
get some sugar from the milk. I mean, you get lactose from the milk. And,
Or you could make it without sugar and then put some kind of, not necessarily jam, but you could put some kind of fruit on top of it or something to add natural
Correct.
Yep,
sweetness. if
and you
wanted
can,
to.
you can do it that way.
Okay.
But I mean, another good way is if you're dealing with any type of sugar issues, you eat one.
Yeah.
Because
And
when
like
we
you said, you can have butter on it and then.
add butter
also-
on it. When we use sugar replacements, so the raw cane sugar is 8 grams is a serving size for 2 teaspoons. When you use like this sugar replacement, I'm always trying different stuff just to see, and then I get mad and I do podcasts about it. 1 teaspoon is its serving size, and it's 4 grams of the, the erythritol. I can't say that good. Erythritol.
Yeah,
So I think a lot of times we think, okay, she used this, the erythritol, and that means it has no sugar, but it has that. So I'm gonna eat 2 of them now. But the serving is still the same for this and the cane sugar. So you still
Mhm.
should only eat 1 to control your blood sugar from spiking.
yeah,
And if you did that with the other, you would still be okay, unless you were like just severely ill with diabetes. Okay.
no, I mean, like you say, using those substitutes is no excuse for eating
For eating
more
more.
and more
And
of
that's
it
what we
because
do.
you didn't have sugar. Yeah, I get it.
That's right. And
All
I
right.
did that bad. So, okay.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any final questions?
There's
And
mine.
You did a great job, Jerry. I really enjoyed it.
Here, Lulu, 1 second. I'm
Get
gonna add you to the
those.
spotlight here.
Those are pretty. Yes. Beautiful.
I can't
Wow.
wait to try them.
Lulu, can you
Yes,
show
they
them
are
back?
beautiful.
I was slow. Sorry.
Or was looking away, Lulu. Here
Sorry.
they come. Here, look. There they are.
Well, Lulu has to say something for it to show up on the recording.
Okay, there they are. Hurry up,
All right.
pan's getting hot. Let's see, I'm gonna pop one out.
Oh, look, it's
Oh.
brown.
Boy, it is pretty.
Oh, you got to, she put them in the cupcake.